Buongiorno, I'm Wim Wenders, and I discovered the music by Fabrizio pretty late. I must say, considering how much it meant to me, I'm really sorry now that I was a latecomer. But I actually discovered it in 1984 with the release of Creusa de Mar. I did not know his music before, and I got to know it because of my brother. My brother and I, for years and years, especially because I was living in America and he was here in Europe, we sent each other cassettes. Every week he would send me a compilation of what he was listening to, and I would send him one from me. We had this compilation correspondence. And one day I heard this song, Creusa de Mar, and the name in the little handwriting of my brother, Fabrizio de André. I did not know anything else. I did not know. I thought, well, must be Italian, and of course, it sounded Italian, not exactly like the Italian I knew. I didn't even know it was an accent because I did not have the record. I found the record, actually the LP, a few later. It was difficult to find it. I was living in America. And so I had the entire record. And I loved each and every song on it. It was like, it was a treasure because I thought this sort of music wasn't anymore. I thought, because I love Jacques Brel, for instance, very, very much. And I thought nobody's ever going to write this sort of song and sing with that sort of voice and have so much to tell and with that generosity and these beautiful melodies. I thought that was period in time that was over. And there was Fabrizio de André. He sang just as beautifully as Leonard Cohen or Jacques Brel, as these great poets. So still I didn't know much. I had this one album and I heard it over and over again. Eventually I also bought a CD. And then I remember I was traveling in Italy one day in a shop. I saw this beautiful cover, and there was no on it. It was just this painting of an Indian. And I bought the record because I thought, oh, that's a gutsy album. I like to buy albums because I like covers. I bought the album, and then as soon as I played it, I realized that's the same guy. That is Fabrizio. And it became my second album, and then, of course, I became very serious and I bought everything I could get hold of until backwards, and afterwards everything he published until he died. But my traveling, and because I lived so long in America, I never actually got to see a concert, never saw him play live. I spoke to all my friends about this incredible music. I spoke about Fiume San Creek and Hotel Supramonte and La Cattiva Strada and Sidun, and I mean countless fantastic songs. I became sort of like a salesman. Any friend that wanted to know what I loved, I said, what you do not know the music by Fabrizio de André, I have to know it. So I think I turned on a lot of people to his music. But to my utter regret, I never met him. There is such an incredibly beautiful sense of songs. And he is one of the great poets of the 20th century, and that's so rare. I mean, you can count them on one hand, the great poets of rock, and Fabrizio is definitely one of them. There's such a tenderness, there's such a, love for things in his music, and for his places, and for people, and then eventually, because I started to sort of research who is this guy. I read this incredible story about when he was captivated. And reading that story and hearing about the process afterwards, and just reading it, as I said, I never met him. And just reading the story of his incredible response in the process, he became almost like a saint for me. And maybe that's why I never really made an effort to say, okay, I'm gonna travel to Italy and see him, because in a way I was happy that he was that angel saint of Italian music. And of course then one day I read he died. And then of course I started to regret that I'd never made an effort to meet him. And of course then I started to buy DVDs and see concerts on DVD, which made me regret even more that I never met him. My favorite musicians on the planet, together with just a handful, Dylan and Van Morrison and well, as I mentioned already, Leonard Cohen and Jacques Brel, but one of those handful of great poets. And I continue being a missionary and telling people about him, and hopefully one day being part of the great concert of all the great musicians on the planet in honor of Fabrizio, playing his songs. Hal Willner. I mean, I met all these people in the course of time who felt just as I felt. Like Hal, who is one of the great music producers of all times and who has put some amazing records and concerts together. And I mean, one day I discovered Hal was just as turned on and just as much a fan of Fabrizio's music as I was. And Hal has this project of organizing this concert to do it in New York. We'll see. And I'm going to be there. And anything I can do to make it happen or to film it, you can count on me. I mean, this will be a great day for all the Fabrizio de André missionaries in the world. I don't know. I put Quello che non ho into my new film because it just had to have a tribute to Fabrizio in there, as it is the first time one of my films takes place in Italy. Couldn't do it without an homage to Fabrizio's music, and this song just fitted so nicely and so ironically, and can't even imagine the film without it anymore. So I hope I see all of you at that concert. Take care.